We all have our own reasons as to why a specific video game means more to me than it would to any of you. Reasons why we as gamers feel so nostalgic for a specific video game or console. That's the power of video games. Now you're going to find that a lot of these stories revolve around my time growing up without a mother. Reason being is because that's around the time that I started losing myself in the magic of video games. It was a coping mechanism that helped me escape reality. In September of 1996, I just returned back to the traditional school system after being homeschooled for 2 years, grade 4 and grade 5. Lord knows why my family decided to homeschool my brother and I. My parents knew well enough that they didn't have the time to sit down and teach us math and English for 6 hours a day, but I digress. Already feeling like an outcast at the school, it was nice to see a couple familiar faces of kids I went to school with in grades 1 through 3. Hearing the whispers of the kids telling each other that I'm back as if I was just released from juvie. Grade 6 was great and there were no issues. Life was good. Fast forward to summer of 1996 when my whole world came crashing down. My mother was a diabetic and always had issues with her health. I'll spare the details as this isn't meant to be the tragic story that is my childhood. She passed away in August of 1997, leaving just my father as the sole provider. After the summer, I returned to the same school for my first year of junior high, grade 7. This is where things started to change. There were new faces that replaced the old friends and acquaintances of past school years. Now, I wasn't always the handsome and charming individual that you see before you. That's right, breathe it in, people. I was a pretty strange child back then. I dressed weird, didn't talk much, and now the fact that I just endured a huge loss back home, I was destined to become a human punching bag. Grade 7 was tough. Grade 8 was not any easier. I was always able to meet some new friends I still talk to and get together with to this day. I was the best man at his wedding, and I wouldn't be the man I am now without this individual's guidance on how not to be a weird, quiet, creepy individual, so thank you for that, old friend. One day, I was sitting on the couch watching TV and a commercial comes on. To say I was intrigued by what I just saw was an understatement. To say I was excited was also an understatement. It was probably the most interesting thing I had ever seen in my entire life. Gotta catch 'em all. How the hell does that work? Trade with friends? What is this? I thought. I need to get my hands on this game. But there was one simple problem. I didn't have a Game Boy, and growing up in a lower middle class family, the chances of me getting a Game Boy was slim to none. A few days go by and I catch a commercial for the Pokemon television series. There's a TV show, I thought? I checked the date and time when the show is on. Saturdays, 8 a.m. I need to watch this show. Now keep in mind I was sleeping in until at least noon at this point and I didn't wake up for anything on the weekend. But Pokemon? I had to see this show. Saturday morning comes, my alarm goes off for 8 a.m. I tune into Pokemon for the very first time. It's the episode where Ash wins his first badge against Brock and I'm already hooked. Pokemon fever is alive and well and I can't get enough. They eventually started airing the show every day after school, so I always had something to look forward to when I got off the bus. The story of Ash and his friends on a Pokemon adventure was, at that time, the greatest story I've ever witnessed. To say I was a fan is definitely selling it short. I dreamt of inventing a way of making real-life Pokemon in a laboratory. I would daydream in school about packing up a little pup tent, saving some money, and traveling by foot all throughout my city catching bugs, sleeping under the stars in random forests, and basically planning out my entire summer vacation Pokemon adventure. I even spent each lunch hour in what we called the homework room, which was a place kids who didn't do their homework would go to finish up, while the rest of the kids had recess. Think of detention and prison mixed together, drawing concepts of new Pokemon that I would send to Nintendo and the Pokemon Company for their consideration. My god, I was weird. But I couldn't call myself a true fan of the franchise because there was still an element of my obsession missing. I still haven't played the game. Until one day when life finally decided to stop gut punching me for once in my sad preteen life and actually decided to throw me a bone. During one of my weird kid brooding adventures in my neighborhood, I decided to walk through a pathway towards the playground near my old childhood home. At this point, I catch a glimpse of some sort of silver box. Curious, I walk towards it, and to my surprise, sitting right there on a bench with no one around was the most beautiful thing I had ever laid my eyes on. A silver Game Boy Pocket. I run towards it in hopes that no one can claim the item before I get my hands on it. I pick it up, check my surroundings one last time. No one here. I turn it on. Click. The red power light illuminates. The Game Boy logo scrolls up from the bottom of the screen. It works, I said out of disbelief. I checked the game pack, hoping I just won the Pokemon lottery. Burai Fighter. Can't win them all, I suppose. I was so excited I couldn't believe what I'd stumbled across. And don't give me that that I should have found the owner. This was a gift from God. I was the owner. It was always meant to be mine. This was it. This was the missing piece to the puzzle. Well, sort of. We're only halfway to the finish line. We still need to get our hands on the actual Pokemon game. How the hell am I supposed to make that happen? Ask for a second miracle? Trade in my Pokemon cards? Sell my soul? Then it hit me. What about my birthday? It's March right now. My birthday is in May. Now, my dad would never buy me a video game. Or so I thought. More on that in another video. Who would buy me this video game for my birthday? Grandma. Can we all just take a minute to appreciate our grandmothers? I know I'm coming off like a spoiled little but my grandma had always been there for me, especially after my mother passed away. Anyways, back to the story. One day soon, after finding that Game Boy and plenty of playthroughs of Burai Fighter, I went over to my grandmother's house for dinner. It was only me, as my father was working late into the night at this time in my life, and my brother was in high school doing, high school kid things. During this dinner, we began talking about life events. What's happening in each other's lives when it finally happened. Oh, it's almost your birthday. Was there something you wanted for your birthday? Bingo. Now, not even a split second goes by, and I mean, Grandma at this point hasn't even finished saying the sentence. I believe it sounded something like this. Oh, it's your birthday. Was there something you want? Pokemon Red. Was it too obvious that I'd been waiting for this day since I found that Game Boy? What's a Pokemon? Grandma said. As I explained to Grandma the concept of the game and what it actually is, I saw her eyes glaze over. I thought to myself, I better stop talking before I literally bore her to death. Lord knows if she's gone, I have no one. Without any actual confirmation from Grandma, only an exaggerated, oh, okay. I thought my ship was sunk. My only chance of getting this game is down the drain. Who the hell is going to want to get me this game now, I thought. So now that I'd screwed up my one and only chance of securing Pokemon Bliss, the only thing I could think of was earning the money myself and paying for it out of pocket. But because I was only 13, joining the workforce was pretty difficult. Now, I've made money as a child before, so I had a couple of ideas. I took jobs mowing lawns for $5 a lawn. I know, they ripped me off considerably, and I tried that approach. I made some money, not enough to actually purchase the game. Afterwards, I thought I would try something a little less labor intensive. I went door to door collecting empty bottles and cans and had my dad take them to the bottle depot and I would pocket the cash. I made some money on this as well. I can't remember what the price of the game was, whether it was $30 or $50, but I remember being about halfway to my goal and giving up. I'm not proud to say it, but yes, I gave up. The process was too long and the rewards seemed to be light years from my grasp. About a month or so later, my birthday comes. I opened gifts from my father and had a pretty good birthday considering no one wanted to come to it. I spent the day with my family. I went out for dinner with my brother and my dad, and it was honestly great. Later that evening, after dinner and family time, I went over to my grandma's to watch playoff hockey. Yeah, I'm Canadian. During the game, in between periods, is when my grandma and I would talk. We ate cake and snacks. I drew pictures and continued to talk, catching up with each other after the week's events. It was always a great time. As we were talking, my grandma decided to get up and head to the kitchen in order to clean up some of the dishes. As I sat there drawing pictures and chatting away with my uncle, my grandmother comes back into the living room. This time not with a handful of snacks, but a birthday gift for me. At this point, I'm looking at the gift's perfectly square structure, and it's about an inch thick. I look at my grandmother and she's avoiding eye contact but staring intently at the gift, waiting for me to open it. Is this actually it? I thought. I was so excited to open the gift, I basically tore into it with my teeth. What else could I do? My hands wouldn't stop shaking from the excitement. I opened the gift up quickly but carefully, and there it was. Charizard looking proudly into the distance, the shiny red foil almost blinding me from the glare. The holy grail of video games. Pokemon Red version. I couldn't believe it. She actually came through. She found it. Grandmas, am I right? After opening the gift, I quickly thanked and hugged my grandmother, finished watching the hockey game, pretended I was tired, even though I'm sure Grandma knew I was just excited to get home and play the game. I headed home. I was so excited to play this game that as soon as I walked in the door, I ran straight to my room, putting a fresh pack of AA's in the old Game Boy and flicked the on switch. The game's opening title screen starts up, I'm almost in, and then, son, it's time for bed. The bedtime? What? Well, I guess this will have to wait until tomorrow. I mean, what's one more day? After all, I have the game now, it's mine. I can play it tomorrow. And that was that. A great end to my birthday. Actually, it was the greatest end to any birthday I've ever had. That night, I stayed up going through the game manual, overstimulated and way too excited to sleep. Eventually, the next morning came when I played the opening game on the bus and on my way to school, and even playing the game in between lessons from my first period teacher. That was until, hey, what's that? A voice from a fellow student from over my shoulder. Now before I get into this part, please remember that I don't have many friends at this school. In fact, I think I have 2, maybe 3 at most. It's Pokemon Red, I said nervously. Can I play it? The boy said. Well, I just got the game yesterday. Those words left my mouth very unconfidently. Come on, he pleaded. I'll give the game back to you at the end of the day. Once he's done, can I play? I heard from the back of the class. I've wanted to try it forever, but I only have a Game Gear. Do you want to trade for a week? At this point, 2 things were going through my head. One, go f yourself, buddy, came first. The second was, if I let him borrow my game, maybe we can be friends. Now again, on a scale of 1 to 10, my confidence level during these times was at a -6. Did I want to give him my game? No. But did I have the balls to tell him that? Also no. So what did I say? Sure, you can play for the day, and then you can have it afterwards for the week. What the hell did I just do? This is the only thing in my life that I actually cared about, and I just gave it away before I even caught my first Pokemon. My life at this point, I felt, was over. Now sure, I now have my hands on a Game Gear, and Sonic is cool and all, but I wanted to catch Pokemon. So the very next day, I bring back the Game Gear, and find my new friend. Spoiler alert, we never became friends, probably because of what's about to happen next. I tell him how I didn't want to give him my game and that I didn't even have the chance to play it myself. After pleading and begging for my console and game back, I finally had enough of him telling me no. I drop the Game Gear on the ground, I steal back my property before he even has a chance to think about what the hell's going on. Was this a dick move? Yes. Did I go back on a deal we made? Also yes. But did I care? Not one friggin' bit. I got my game back, damn it, and nothing was gonna ruin this moment for me. After that embarrassing stint in my colorful new nickname, Asshole, I spent months playing this game, from sunup to sundown, catching, battling, and collecting Pokemon, as well as watching each new episode of the show. Every single dollar that I came across went straight to batteries for my Game Boy so that I could keep playing this game, and return to a world where I was a hero. And in all the years since then, I have never once felt the same way for a video game that I did for the original Pokemon generation of games. And I can't thank my grandmother enough for that. She is literally the reason I survived my time in junior high school, not just because of the game, but because she gave me somewhere to go as a child, someone to talk to when my own father wasn't around, and I hope she realizes just how much of an impact she's had on me as a child. Alright guys, and that is it. That is the first episode of Video Game Storytime. Thank you guys so much for watching. These stories mean a lot to me, and some of them, like this one, can be somewhat hard to bring up, so I'm glad to have you all here. Give this video a like if you guys enjoyed the story, and don't forget to comment down below your Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow story as well. But the most important thing that you guys can do to help this channel grow would be to subscribe to Super Gaming Minute if you like talking all things Nintendo and gaming. We release 1 to 2 new videos every single week, and the only way to stay up to date with each and every video that we release would be to subscribe and to ring the notification bell. With all that said, thank you guys so much for all your support. We'll see you all here next time, and as always, keep on gaming.